Welcome everybody back to my channel. My name is Jacob Ferguson, and today we are going to be looking at All Stars 9, Episode 6, the National Drag Convention Roast. This was sort of a parody on a debate-type roast. Also, I'm sorry, I'm hungry. A category on the runway was Atomic Blonde. So, Gottmik is cut off to begin with. Everybody comes back in. Roxy explains to Angeria that, she didn't mean to cut her off. That she was going to go cut off somebody else. We know full damn well that if Roxy had the chance, she would have cut off Angeria again. But because there were cameras present, she decided not to. So she cut off Gottmik instead. Gottmik does not take it very well, but she really didn't have a moment to really think about that. Also, this shirt says terrific. It's a Charlotte's Web reference. Because Roxy stole the scene last time and basically was just crying the entire time. So Gottmik never really got to voice her opinions about how she felt being blocked. So she comes in, she's a little bit pissed, but, it's par for the course. I think that these girls are blocking queens too fast and loose. Also, spoiler alert, Chanel doesn't win a badge this week, so but we'll get into it. But I'm a little bit pissed for Chanel. So let's talk about the next day they enter into the workroom, and RuPaul comes in and announces that they are going to be doing a straw poll or the same thing that they did with season 16, where they vote who is more likely to do something. But this is more election themed, and the winner of the straw poll is Georges. Not only this week does Georges receive $2,500, she also receives a beautiful benefactress badge for her troubles, which is a little bit weird to be giving out a mini challenge badge, but it does make Georges a bigger threat. And then we hear that it is going to be a roast. Also, this is a Grandma McFlurry from McDonald's. It's okay. So Georges is already not as confident as she should be because it's a roast. Last time during the roast, she got sent home. In fact, nobody here has won the roast on their season, and only 4 of them have participated in a roast. The other 4 were on season 11 and season 1, where there weren't any roasts, and the rest of them had roasts on their season. So, Nina has participated in a roast, so I guess there's 5. But Vanjie, Plastique, and Chanel have never participated in a roast before. As always, by the way, I did take a picture of each runway that we'll be getting into later. Roxy Andrews almost went home during her roast, and by almost, I mean she killed the lip sync and therefore didn't get to go home. But we've had an eliminated queen on the roast challenge, and also Plastique and Vanjie were both in the bottom during their comedy challenges, and Chanel really never got to do a comedy challenge, and technically Plastique never really got to do this sort of stand-up thing. I think that the closest thing that Nina and Vanjie got to do was the magic show, which Nina won. She also helped Dustin Milligan win the roast on season 1 of Secret Celebrity Drag Race, along with Alex Newell and Matt Eisman. I love that episode of that. That's kind of like my comfort episode. We have the three people there actually win. Each win $100,000 for their charities, which is just fabulous. So moving forward, each of them does stand-up routine with Michelle Visage and the extra special guest judge Ruta Lee. Ruta Lee is a very, very iconic actress. I didn't recognize her at first because I thought, is that Joan Rivers? That can't be Joan Rivers. She's dead. But it's Ruta Lee. I love Ruta Lee. She gave good critiques. She gave good advice. I really liked her. Her little ensemble that she was wearing was giving kind of Colonial Williamsburg. Not gonna lie, but moving forward, why did everybody get the brief on the runway except for RuPaul? And Carson, for that matter. Carson also didn't. Let's see, you can't see my armpit. RuPaul didn't receive the brief, and neither did Carson. They were both wearing pink. I was like, it's an American roast. Come out as a bald eagle or something like that. The look I probably would have done was I would have probably come out as like, I don't know, we need you, Uncle Sam. So let's talk about the roasts. So Georges, in winning the mini challenge, also gets to choose the order. So let's go in order. First up is Chanel. She comes out in this orange number. It's really beautiful. I did not take a picture of the roast looks, honestly, because they're just roast looks. They're not being graded on the runway. I loved her her look tonight. Her roast was also very good too, though I will say that it was a tad bit boring. She was the first one to come out. I was expecting a bigger punch. But I mean, she did good. I wouldn't say that she didn't. She was okay. I don't really remember a lot of her jokes. Because she was the first one up. But I mean, I still really enjoyed her. She gets a cream for me on the main stage. Up next, let's talk about Georges. So Georges took the advice that RuPaul gave her last time and made a butch character of herself. And it was really funny. I wasn't really laughing as much as RuPaul was, but RuPaul was laughing. It was quite good. It was unexpected, but it was kind of expected, but unexpected at the same time. It was pretty solid roast. You're gonna hear me say that a lot, right? So Georges gets a cream for me tonight. Up next is Plastique Tiara. So her whole shtick was that she's coming out as a person from the wrong convention. She was going to like a Comic-Con, but ended up going to the Drag Race convention. And that character immediately falls off after the first joke. But she had some zingers in there. Most notably, that Leah Remini is hiding in Michelle Visage's vagina because she's hiding from Scientology. That's just hilarious to me because I didn't expect a Scientology joke. Also, one of Georges' jokes really cracked me up. She said Angeria Paris Michaels is so country that she douches with sweet tea. And as a southerner myself, even though I know I don't sound like it, sometimes at my job I put on like some sort of country accent. A lot of people think I'm a woman because I work a drive-through, so I'm like, well, how y'all doing? But that made me cackle more than it probably should have. I didn't really laugh a whole lot. I just was smiling the entire time during this roast. I mean, there were some jokes, but I don't like forced laughing. I don't like going, oh, that was funny, let me laugh. It has to be natural for me, and I guess if I was in that situation, I probably would have. But anyway, up next was Roxy Andrews. Roxy had some good jokes. She looked very beautiful, but she had some good jokes, especially the part where RuPaul cannot remember any of our names. She goes, "Remember, I'm the wig reveal one." It was really really funny. I enjoyed it, though. I will say that she did kind of not do as well as I thought that she could have, but that's just me. Do I know what I'm saying? No, I never do. You guys don't watch this channel for an in-depth discussion of this. I'm just talking out of my ass. Um, Up next was, I believe, Vanessa Vanjie Mateo. Yes, Vanessa Vanjie Mateo. And she had some good jokes. I will say that her personality really was the driving force behind some of the jokes, such as her walking and her hair flipping. I will say that my favorite joke was that after Georges sucks dick, the guy burps her, which is really funny. That did get a laugh out of me, but honestly, Vanjie kind of was just being herself, which is great. Except where herself is naturally funny in situations where she doesn't have to write anything down. She can just go off the cuff. Here, it's like, well, I have all these roast jokes, but it's like she was also very harsh. Um, and she was the one that had to remind everybody there was a roast. It seems like every single time that they have a roast, like, it's a roast, bitch. And it's like, yeah, we know that, but say something funny. Um, Not saying that Vanjie wasn't funny, but here we go. Up next is Angeria Paris Van Michaels. And she did great. I won't say that I don't think that this, I will say I don't know if this is a winning performance, but she was great nonetheless. Um, she kind of took like one tone for the entire thing. And she took that tone also on season 14. But the way that she delivered the jokes was really clean. Though I don't really remember a lot of them. Also, I hate having to retell the jokes on here. That's just a principle that I have. Um, but she did really well. She looked gorgeous while doing it, and I loved her. All of the queens so far have gotten creams from me. Now let's talk about Gottmik Crunch. I'm sorry, it was. Her opening joke was really funny because it referenced Glee, which I'm hoping that after All Stars wraps up, I can get into more squirrely territory with what I post, like an in-depth analysis of Glee, if you guys would be down for that. Because I have a lot of opinions. But just like Quinn Fabray in Glee, Gottmik didn't really know where she was going with her look, with her thing, and in the end, I think it ended up in a car crash. I don't necessarily think that it was the best roast, and she was the one that I was looking the most forward to because she almost won her roast last time. She was second place behind Candy in the roast, and I think that she could have even been first place. But the problem is that I don't think that she was confident enough with her roast material. So she gets a crunch. I'm sorry, Gottmik. And up next is Nina West. It is what it is, isn't it? In the words of Alexis Michelle, it is what it is. Um, Mateo. Nina, Nina did okay. I'm gonna give her a soft cream. She did the job that she was expected to do. But she came about it with like I'm the nice queen, and I'm like, yeah, but you still got roast. She did okay, but I don't think that this closing was necessarily the best thing. I think that if Angeria had closed it, or Georges had closed it, or Plastique had closed it, it would have been better than what it was. But Nina West gets a soft cream. Her jokes were somewhat funny. And she has a beautiful personality, so Next up is the runways. Category is Atomic Blonde. I didn't really know what to think of this, but let's start out with Chanel. So this is Chanel's look. She said it's kind of giving Marilyn Monroe. This says it's rudely starring in Mad Max. This look is not the best for me. And the fact that it came out first, I was like, oh, this is what we're doing, huh? It's Atomic Blonde. Oh, Apocalypse. Okay. Like, it was okay, but it just wasn't the best look. And I know Chanel can deliver high fashion looks, but this look kind of just seemed like she threw it together last minute. Of course, there are always going to be compliments on the outfit, but it's a crunch for me tonight. I just didn't like it. Also, again, she was doing the exact same thing on the runway that she usually does. Ooh. It was more mysterious this time. I clocked to the more mysterious. But we really need to, pick a new thing for you to do where it could be funny. Where it could be, more seductive or something like that. Because going, oh my gosh, I'm on the main stage. Ooh, I'm mysterious. And I'm this battle cat. Just didn't work for me. It's a crunch. I'm sorry, Chanel. Better luck next time. Up next is Georges. This is so amazing. So amazing. I love it. Chanel's was muted, which I do think I'm going to give credit for because we've seen Chanel in every single other vibrant color. I'm glad that she chose muted. Georges looks amazing in this look. She has spikes coming out, she has the hair, she has the body. It's so beautiful. It's a cream for me. Which already elevates Georges. She already has 2 stars. And it's just too bad. 2 badges. And she looks amazing. It's just so great. It's pink, it's grand, it's sort of what we've been searching for. When I think of Elle Woods during the apocalypse, I think of that. Next up, Miss Plastique Tiara. I mean, the fashion is there. It's always going to be there, but I think the issue for me is that all that she can do? And obviously not. She killed the roast. She absolutely demolished the roast. But there were some problems. No, there weren't. She looked great. I kind of didn't like the makeup, the bunny makeup type thing. It was giving I think it's from Lilo and Stitch. 1 second. It was giving him. It was giving Dr. Hamsterville. It was, I'm sorry. She looked great, though. The all of the white, I was like, okay, well, you need a center point to draw your eye into. And having white everything just doesn't really work for me. But she looked great. I'm gonna give it a cream. Up next is Roxy Andrews Crunch. This is a crunch for me tonight. She says that she's trying to go more primal with it. But no. I really wish that Roxy had come out as sort of a futuristic glam bot or a dirty, Mad Max style thing. Because this look for me tonight was not the best that I know that Roxy can perform at. So it's a crunch. It didn't really look that great on the runway. It's the worst outfit on the runway so far. Next up, Vanessa Vanjie Mateo. I enjoyed this look a little bit. I will say that it was hard for her to move in it. But she looked great. She's wearing a lot more gowns, which is really nice. I won't say that this is atomic for me, but she looks great. It's not the end of the world, literally. So it's a cream. I enjoyed this look. Up next on the runway. Oh, you can barely see it. There we go. Angeria. So this is kind of a crunch for me. She looks great. Ish. I like the hair. It's kind of basic, isn't it? It's kind of like, well, I'm giving you Le Champion. But even Le Champion had the giant world on her head. This is giving safe in the post-apocalyptic Couture Challenge on Season 4. It's giving what, like, Milan and Willem and Jeremy put together on their runway. Or what Chad put together on her runway. It's, like, not necessarily the best look, right? So this is kind of a crunch for me tonight. I just wish that she had done better on the runway. Up next is Gottmik. She's so white, Jesus. I'm gonna just be completely honest with you. While I like the concept, it's a crunch. I love Gottmik, and I've always told you that her fashion is like next level. I liked this. This was the like I've liked all of her outfits thus far. This was a crunch. It was a simple dress with one of the boobs out, and she put the boobs back on for this, which I mean is great. I thought that originally when I looked at it, that she had her top surgery scars out again. But no, this time she just had one boob out. And she had, I guess, a breastplate. I don't quite know how she achieved it because I couldn't find the delineation between the breastplate and her, but she looked great. Her body looked great. It's just, it was a little bit too simple. It was a little bit too, like, what, if this was on a runway in the earlier seasons, it would have been fine, but, like, now it's All Stars. Bring your best, and this just wasn't her best. So it's a crunch. And finally, oh Lord. Oh God, Nina West. Oh no. Oh, what did she do? What did she do and why? Why did she do it? Like, I get the concept of going 50s, but at the same time, why is it so ugly? Who made this for her and why? Why is her fashion not elevated enough? That's what I'm gonna say. You can have bad fashion and be eliminated. That's great. But this is an all stars where there are no eliminations. I am tired of seeing her miss the mark each and every week, except for Snatch Game Week. She didn't. I'm a little bit mad at her because I'm like, why are you not good? Why is this not good? Like, there are elements of it that are good, but the whole shape is boxy. There's no, like, figure to it. It's a lot. It's a lot down in her hips, a lot up here, and then you have the giant mushroom cloud, which I thought was very creative, but I would have liked it more if, say, she was a 1950s housewife and there were like bombs dropping on her head and it was like a Cold War scare type thing. That would have been cool, not motherfucking outcast from robots. It's a crunch for me, and honestly, this is the worst look on the runway tonight. It just is. Well, no, Roxy's is the worst. Nina's, at least I kind of see where she's coming from with it. Roxy's is a crunch, the most ultimate crunch. In the top this week, I watch the judges' critiques. I don't watch their deliberation because, frankly, I don't care. I don't. Not anymore. I'm like, okay, get to the meat of the episode. But what I will say is that my top four were Angeria, Georges, Plastique, and Chanel. So if any combination of those made the top four, good for them. Um, my top two of the week, my top two were Georges and Plastique. Angeria being safe because her runway was a crunch, and Chanel just was okay. But they chose Angeria instead of Georges, and they have to lip sync. And the lip sync song is one that we've already heard before, "Be My Lover" by LaBouche. Now, I'm glad. I'm mad because this song has already been used for a lip sync against two lip sync assassins, Denali and Lala Ree, on season 13 for charity already. But I get the sentiment of like, well, we didn't use this as an actual lip sync song yet. It hasn't really been on the main stage of Drag Race. They just lip sync it to it in two separate clubs. So instead, let's make music together and let's put it over in the in the All Stars 9 pile. Watching this lip sync, Angeria fucking turned it. Of course she did. Plastique, I am so mad at because she did so well this episode. I think it's strategy. I think that she doesn't know the words because she doesn't want to snip anybody. But at the same time, she's robbing her charity of getting money. There was a whole part where the guy is going, "Girl, yes, I want to be your lover," just like, and instead of lip syncing that, she just points to Angeria, and Angeria's like, "Okay, well, I guess I'm doing this." And then Plastique comes in on the girl's part. I'm like, that's great, but you just missed an entire section of lip sync song that you needed to learn, but you didn't. All three of Plastique's lip syncs, she has not known the words to. She's not learned the words to "Jump in the Line" by Harry Belafonte. She did not learn the words to "Super Freaky Girl" by Nicki Minaj. Neither one of them did, actually. And she did not learn the words to "Be My Lover" by LaBouche. One of the most iconic drag songs that a queen can do. If you are a dancing queen, you have probably already done "Be My Lover" at least once or twice. Right? That's kind of like a dance queen's first baby song. I like the song. It's a good song. I am a little bit tired of seeing so many freaking lip sync songs that are like, well, remember when we did this last time? Like, where's I Wanna Go? Or Oops, I Did It Again? Or I Will Survive? Give me the double sachet numbers. Or in the case of I Wanna Go, give me the Charlie Let's Go numbers. Like, give me the numbers that were just sort of bad on Drag Race. Don't give me ones that are good, because then it'll just make me go back and watch the other ones. Like when they did Point of No Return by Expose in All Stars 6. I'm like, we've already done this, and we did it better than the other. Darien Lake freaking killed it, and instead you have Silky and Yada sitting there, and they're not Darien Lake. Darien Lake's fabulous. Or Hallucinate by Dua Lipa. It's like, well, we already have Crystal and Vanity. Why do we need Jimbo and Jasmine to do it? And while I will say Jasmine was on par with the other two, Jimbo wasn't. There's a lot of stuff that I can forgive. Also, when are we going to get Levitating by Dua Lipa? It has been teased every single freaking season since the song came out. They had it on season 14. Deja Sky performed it, but they cut all the footage of that out. So where is Levitating? Redo Levitating. I don't want to see Be My Lover. Do Levitating. I love that song. We need that song on Drag Race. Just get it over and done with. That way we can go, hey, at least that song was on there. But instead, we just get freaking Be My Lover again. Something that I think Denali and Lala Ree already did so well. That's the problem. If they both sucked at it, then I understand redoing it. Just like Nasty on season 10 should be redone. Or, I'm gonna just say this. For Your Mind needs to be redone. Respect needs to be redone. Songs that were in lip sync SmackDowns need to be redone. Unless they're iconic. Like Never Too Much doesn't need to be redone. Or um, Don't Let Go Love by In Vogue doesn't need to be redone. Or I'm in Love with a Monster doesn't need to be redone. But there are songs like Respect by Aretha Franklin that I think should be redone because they deserve their own episode and more of a presence in the community where it's not like, well, we already did Respect. Remember Respect? We already did that. It's like, no. And I could understand if Lala Ree and Denali sucked at it, but Plastique and Angeria did the worst job. Angeria did okay, but Plastique did not know the words. And I'm mad about that. I'm mad about Plastique not knowing the words to this song. So, Angeria wins, obviously, and decides to take a little bit of time to really think it over. She asks if she could pray to God. So RuPaul starts talking to her. And also we see the Don't Block Mommy shot. Angeria was standing right in front of RuPaul's camera. I think that is fucking hilarious. Because it's like, it kind of shows a human side to RuPaul. Like, don't block my shot. Get out of here. Angeria ends up deciding to snip Roxy, which I think would have been the best decision. I could have also seen her cutting Nina West. But Roxy and Angeria are now, like, heated rivals. Also, this officially means that somebody, probably either Chanel or Vanjie, is not going to get snipped in the competition. I feel like if everybody else gets snipped, somebody else is not going to, because there's only 12 episodes. And there's only about 10 chances for you to snip somebody, or 9 chances for them to snip somebody. And now Roxy and Angeria have been snipped twice. That means that somebody is off the hook and will never get snipped. And, judging by context clues left by Miss Vanessa Vanjie Mateo during a viewing party at Roscoe's, I think it's pretty safe to say that Vanjie will not be snipped. Now, that means that Chanel, Plastique, and Nina, will be probably snipped in the near future. Episode 7 seems to be a comedy acting challenge thing. I'm going to be completely honest here. This is because of the strike. This is the reason that they're not doing acting challenges is because of the strike. You can't tell me it's not, because they didn't have that many acting challenges in season 16. So it is now time for us to either give Chanel a badge or just look at her and go, you're not getting a badge, I'm sorry. Which I think would be pretty iconic, but also it's like, you're working so hard to get to where you are. Why would we not give Chanel a badge? Chanel could have won a badge easily in any of these challenges. But because she hasn't now, it's like, well, when is she? I think that this week she could have won a badge. I think it would have been iconic. But I predict next week they're going to give the badge to Chanel. I think that the story is going to be very Chanel-centric. It's going to be very like, you didn't give me a badge. And people will be like, well, we're so sorry. So yeah, I predict that Chanel will win a badge next week. And if she doesn't, then they're probably never going to give her one. Who are you guys rooting for? My top 3 are Angeria, Paris Van Michaels, Roxy Andrews, and Gottmik still, with maybe Plastique Tiara thrown in there. But what did you guys think? Leave a comment down below. I've been Jacob Ferguson. See you next week for a meeting in the ladies' room. Please don't let that be the lip sync song. Please don't let that be the lip sync song. We already had that on season 3. We don't need it again. And remember, go vote. Bye, y'all.